Hello, this is Anne again in week 3. I'd like to talk about Zora Neale Hurston's The Gilded Six-Bits. I hope you'll also try to read Their Eyes Were Watching God, but if you can't, the Halle Berry uh, video is really quite close to the novel, and I think will give you a good sense of her celebration of life depicted in both. So back to the Gilded Six-Bits. This is the short story in your Norton text, and I hope you can read through it. It might help to just go through this video and look for some good parts. Here's the beginning. I'm just going to read some of it so you get a sense. She does use dialect that's hard to read, and then you feel funny like you're being racist when you try to make it sound as it should, especially if you're white. And I also wanted to show how she's just got such poetry in her words. Look at this first line. I don't know if you'd call it poetry, but it's really a striking degree of skill with words that she has. She begins, "It was a Negro yard, around a Negro house, in a Negro settlement that looked to the payroll of the G&G Fertilizer Works for its support." So we know that Joe, the main character, is working there at a fertilizer factory. But there was something happy about the place. The front yard was parted in the middle by a sidewalk from gate to doorstep, a sidewalk edged on either side by quart bottles driven neck down into the ground on a slant. Can you picture this? A mess of homey flowers, planted without a plan but blooming cheerily from their helter-skelter places. The fence and house were whitewashed, the porch and steps scrubbed white. The front door stood open in the sunshine so that the floor of the front room could finish drying after its weekly scouring. It was Saturday, everything clean from the front gate to the privy house. I wonder if everyone knows about privy houses. This is an outdoor toilet, a little wooden building in the backyard. Yard raked so that the strokes of the rake would make a pattern. Fresh newspaper cut in fancy edge on the kitchen shelves. Do you know what she means here by fancy edge? Do you remember, you don't see them anymore, but there used to be pinking shears that would cut a zigzag, instead of a straight line with the scissors, it would cut a zigzag pattern. So that's what she's talking about. It's just plain newspaper, but made fancy with the pinking shears. Missy May was bathing herself in the galvanized washtub in the bedroom. So she's just getting ready for Joe to come home, and he has a pattern, her young husband, when he comes home on, this would be Saturday night, he's just been paid, and he has 9 coins, I believe, that would be maybe $50, and he's got a ritual that he throws the coins at the door so that they ring when they fall. And then she comes out and they play like children, like happy, innocent kids. So here she is coming out after him. She says, "Nobody ain't going to be chunking money at me, and I not doing nothing," she shouted in mock anger. He ran around the house with Missy May at his heels. She overtook him at the kitchen door. He ran inside but could not close it after him before she crowded in and locked with him in a rough and tumble. For several minutes the two were a furious mass of male and female energy, shouting, laughing, twisting, turning, tussling, tickling each other in the ribs. Missy May clutching onto Joe, and Joe trying not too hard to get away. "Missy May, take your hand out my pocket," Joe shouted out between laughs. "I ain't, Joe, not lessen you gwine gimme whatever it is good you got in your pocket. Turn it go, Joe. Do I'll tear your clothes. turn it go, Joe. Do. I'll tear your clothes. It's hard to do this. Go on, tear 'em. You the one that pushes the needles round here. Move your hand, Missy May. Let me get that paper sack out your pocket. I bet it's Candy Kisses. 'Tain't. Move your hand. Woman ain't got no business in a man's clothes nohow. Go away. Missy May gouged way down and gave an upward jerk and triumphed. I got it. Tis so, Candy Kisses. I knowed you had something for me in your clothes. Now I got to see what's in every pocket you got. Joe smiled indulgently and let his wife go through all of his pockets and take out the things that he had hidden for her to find. She bore off the chewing gum, the cake of sweet soap, the pocket handkerchief, as if she had wrested them from him, as if they had not been bought for the sake of this friendly battle. So that was another part of Joe's routine, is that before, like right after he got paid and before he went home, he'd stop at a store and buy these sweet things, the little gifts for her to hide in his pockets. These and the chocolate or molasses candy kisses, like Hershey's Kisses. I imagine it's something like that. So that's part of the ritual. So after they've both bathed and they've both eaten, we get a reference now to, ta-da, the evil villain in the story. And Joe is saying, telling her to dress up and saying, yeah, we go into the ice cream parlor. Missy says, where the ice cream parlor at, Joe? And Joe says, a new man done come here from Chicago, and he done got a place and took and opened it up for an ice cream parlor. And being as it's real swell, I wants you to be one of the first ladies to walk in there and have some set down. Do Jesus, I ain't knowed nothing about it. Who the man done it? Mr. Otis D. Slemons of Spots and Places, Memphis, Chicago, Jacksonville, Philadelphia, and so on. That heavy-set man with his mouth full of gold teeth. It's like she doesn't think too much of him already. But he says, yeah, where did you see him at? I went down to the store to get a box of lye, and I seen him standing on the corner talking to some of the men's, and I come on back and went to scrubbing the floor, and he passed and tipped his hat whilst I was scouring the steps. I thought I'd never seen him before. Joe smiled pleasantly. Yeah, he's up to date. He got the finest clothes I ever seen on a colored man's back. He don't look no better in his clothes than you do in yourn. He got a puzzle gut on him, and he's so chuckle-headed he got a pone behind his neck. Joe looked down at his own abdomen and said wistfully, wished I had a build on me like he got. He ain't puzzle-gutted, honey. He just got a corporation. That make him look like a rich white man. All rich men is got some belly on 'em. I seen the pictures of Henry Ford, this is Missy now, and he's a spare-built man, and Rockefeller look like he ain't got but one gut. But Ford and Rockefeller and this Slemons and all the rest can be as many-gutted as they please. I's satisfied with you just like you is, baby. God took pattern after a pine tree and built you noble. You's a pretty man, and if I knowed any way to make you more pretty still, I'd take and do it. Joe reached over gently and toyed with Missy May's ear. You just say that 'cause you love me, but I know I can't hold no light to Otis D. Slemons. I ain't never been nowhere, and I ain't got nothing but you. So here I highlighted this because later on, well, I'll come back to this. Just remember this, that she would like Joe to feel more confident and is willing to if she knows of a way to do it, she would do it. So here's another reference here to the 6 bits. We don't use it too much, but remember, like in Roger Rabbit, you know, and he does this little song, shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Well, the 2 bits is a quarter, or it's the knocking noise. You know, you go da 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 da, and the 2 bits is just a quarter. It comes from a minting process. I'm not sure exactly what, but the 2 bits is like 2 parts silver or something like that. But it only means a quarter. So 4 bits would be a $half. So when Hurston tells us he's got a $5 gold piece, well, this is in Joe's voice. He's got a $5 gold piece for a stick pin, and he got a $10 gold piece on his watch chain, and his mouth is just crammed full of gold teeth. Sure wished it was mine, and what make it so cool, he got money accumulated, and women's give it all to him. So again, this is important to what happens in the story. So he says, go ahead on now, honey, and put on your clothes. He talking about his pretty women's, I want him to see mine. So he's got this sort of competitive thing going with the Slemons. Joe wishes he was more like Slemons, who could attract women, who would give him money and give him gold jewelry, and have gone places, have own a corporation. So what ends up happening, though, the complication in the story, the crisis in the story, is that he comes home one Saturday night, probably the next Saturday night, and he finds Missy in bed with Slemons. Joe confronts them, Missy cries, Slemons runs out, leaving part of his gold jewelry behind, the gilded $half that has a chain on it, like to hang from a watch. And so they fall out of, not out of love, but it's really tense in the household after that. Hurston writes, there were no more Saturday romps, no ringing silver dollars to stack beside her plate, no pockets to rifle. In fact, the yellow coin in his trousers was like a monster hiding in the cave of his pockets to destroy her. She often wondered if he still had it, but nothing could have induced her to ask, nor yet to explore his pockets to see for herself. Its shadow was in the house, whether or no. One night Joe came home around midnight and complained of pains in the back. He asked Missy to rub him down with liniment. It had been 3 months since Missy had touched his body, and it all seemed strange. But she rubbed him, grateful for the chance. Before morning, youth triumphed, and Missy exulted. But the next day, as she joyfully made up their bed, beneath her pillow she found the piece of money with a bit of chain attached. Alone, to herself, she looked at the thing with loathing. But look she must. She took it into her hands with trembling, and saw first thing that it was no gold piece. It was a gilded $half. Then she knew why Slemons had forbidden anyone to touch his gold. He trusted village eyes at a distance not to recognize his stick pin as a gilded quarter, and his watch charm as a 4-bit piece. So she realizes that the $15 gold jewelry is really just 75 cents cheap paint over a quarter and a $half. She was glad at first that Joe had left it there. Perhaps he was through with her punishment. They were man and wife again. Then another thought came clawing at her. He had come home to buy from her as if she were any woman in the longhouse, or a house of prostitution. 50 cents for her love, as if to say that he could pay as well as Slemons. She slid the coin into his Sunday pants pocket, and dressed herself and left his house. Well, she doesn't really leave. I mean, it's like not to leave. Because we find that she is pregnant, and it's a really sweet way, the way Joe says it, that looks like you're making shoes for feet. No, making feet for shoes. Making little feet for shoes. Anyway, Missy delivers a son who looks just like Joe, and Joe's mother, who hadn't liked her before, now accepts Missy and Joe's baby with pride. And later, at the end of the story, we see Joe going to the same store where he used to buy Missy's candy kisses. And we see this ending. The clerk says, "Want some of them molasses kisses you always buy?" "Yes, sir," says Joe. He threw the gilded $50 on the counter. "Will that spend?" "What is it, Joe?" "Well, I'll be doggone. A gold-plated 4-bit piece? Where'd you get it, Joe?" "Off an Australian nigger that come through Eatonville. He had it on his watch chain for a charm, going round making out it's gold money. Ha! He had a quarter on his tie pin, and it was all golded up, too, trying to fool people, making out he's so rich and everything. Ha! Trying to toll off folks' wives from home. How did you get it, Joe? Did he fool you, too?" "Who, me? Nah, sir. He ain't fooled me none. Know what I done? He come round with his smart talk. I hauled off and knocked him down and took his old 4-bits away from him. Going to buy my wife some good old lasses kisses with it. Give me 50 cents worth of them candy kisses." 50 cents buys a mighty lot of kisses, candy kisses, Joe. Why don't you split it up and take some chocolate bars, too? They eat good, too. Get this up here. "Yes, sir, they do. They do. But I wants all that in kisses. I got a little boy child home now. 'Tain't a week old yet, but he can suck a sugar tit and maybe eat one of them kisses himself." Joe got his candy and left the store. The clerk turned to the next customer. "Wished I could be like these darkies, laughin' all the time. Nothing worries 'em." Back in Eatonville, Joe reached his own front door. There was the ring of singing metal on wood 15 times. Missy May couldn't run to the door, but she crept there as quickly as she could. "Joe Banks, I hear you chunking money in my doorway. You wait till I got my strength back, and I'm going to fix you for that." So things all work out for the best. It's really just a love story, and a real insight into just the human nature of these characters. And that's really one of the reasons that Hurston was criticized. Mostly, she wasn't criticized by whites. Whites seemed to love the story, but the black male members of the Harlem Renaissance, some of whom were her competitors, like Richard Wright, we'll get to his story, I think it's coming up next week, criticized her heavily. Hughes, Cullen, and Richard Wright, all saying she was, her works did not take on the racial pride issues, the issues demanding civil rights and portraying the new Negro. She was criticized because, well, you know, like there are places, but look how understated this is when the clerk says, "Wished I could be like these darkies," laughing all the time. It's just an understated comment on perceptions, white perceptions of black people, of black characters. And it seems to me that she, with her real stories, I don't know, she gets down to the day-to-day life. And it's with the same elements that we all can relate to. You know, true love, getting through the difficult parts of marriage. Anyway, when you get to their eyes were watching God, watch for these same elements, and be, get critical and say, did she deserve this criticism from her male, black male counterparts, her peers? And let's try to discuss this in the forums. Email me if you have any questions at all, or call. I'm right here just for that.